Howdy, folks, and welcome to Fan Requests, the show where we get told which songs to review by our adoring fans. My name's Cary Nightingale, and with me, as always, is my trusty sidekick, Kevin Nebrich. Kevo, how you doing?
Doing well today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for asking. Now, I'd love for you to tell me about the fan request song that you were forced to review by our current number one fan, Tuba Gooding Jr.
Well, I got to tell you, Cary, I am incredibly upset with my 13-year-old self right now for not having stumbled across the album Hardcore by Lil Kim, released in 1996. As a pubescent young man growing up in a nice suburban neighborhood, being raised by religious parents, listening to this album would have been like striking gold on the moon. It's dirty, it's hilarious, it's got some really impressive tracks, and there's even a tastefully risque image of Kim on the cover to masturbate to.
Well, hold on there, Kev. I have a feeling it's a lot like night vision goggles. Would have been great to have when you were 13, but something tells me you could still masturbate to it now that you're almost 40.
Cary, I was literally the target demographic of this album, and it never once appeared on my radar. I blame the marketing people. At times, Hardcore sounds more like a Jerky Boys CD than the album that Jordan Bassett from New Musical Express proposed to be the greatest rap record of all time. But he does make a fair point. The sex-positive feminist lyrics that Kim breathes in this album were groundbreaking at the time. Kim was purportedly more raunchy, more vulgar, and more unapologetic than any of her male counterparts. This rightfully garnered her a lot of attention, both positive and otherwise. She consistently took shit from everybody. The media, men in the music industry, suburban house parents screaming, "You're ruining our children." That's our job. I would say that Kim has earned her self-imposed title Queen Bee, having broken down walls for other female artists by being unrepentantly crass and admirably confident. That's not a bad review setup, so let's get on with it. With a steady backbeat and a sample of George Benson's performance of Turn Your Love Around, written by songwriters Bill Champlin, Jay Graydon, and Steve Lukather, Not Tonight is a song about, well, cunnilingus. Written by Lil Kim, featuring and produced by Jermaine Dupri, we immediately learn that Kim is not shy about telling you what she wants, and make no mistake, gentlemen, she is not asking. Kim spins us a yarn about ex-lovers that didn't make the cut in one way or another, explaining that her needs have matured with experience and that she has no intention of ceding any ground on that issue. I gave Not Tonight by Lil Kim a tune score of 6.5 out of 10. Cary, I can't imagine a world in which you wouldn't appreciate this song. Give it a listen and tell us what you think.
I'd be happy to. Give me just a moment and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Kev, thanks for giving me the opportunity to listen to Not Tonight. Like you, I led perhaps a sheltered existence as a youth, and I had never heard of Lil Kim or probably any of her music until a couple days ago. I did a quick calculation and tune score for Not Tonight. I landed at a 6.4. A few notes. This is obviously a lyrics song. They're fucking filthy and very clever. The rest of it is like the stock footage of harmony. The rhythm's not even that interesting. It's only saved by the bass line. Now, a lot of that comes down to maybe the choice of sample, the segment of the source material that they used and put on loop. I don't know. It's just not terribly interesting, although it does leave a lot of room for all of the pussy eating that is mentioned in the lyrics. I did think, as far as the performance, the chorus sounded a little bit flat, but that could be just to my ears. And speaking of choruses, the arrangement had way too many choruses toward the end. This song could have been shorter, but maybe Lil Kim likes it to last longer. I can't tell.
I think she was pretty clear on that, actually.
But I landed, like I said, at a 6.4, so just about a point or so off. Well done. The other song that we've got here for fan requests, the one that I was tasked with reviewing, came from the same year, 1996, but a very different artist. I've got How Do You Want It by Tupac. How Do You Want It is based on a sample of Body Heat by Quincy Jones. Quincy's life experience and prodigious musical output make him a solid choice to sample. You know what they say, everybody be out here putting on lipstick while my man Q's getting stabbed with an ice pick. The way this sample is treated makes it sound more aggressive than the source material, with a great groove at a faster tempo. But it does get a little wearying to use essentially the same 8-bar loop throughout. Lyrics are deftly crafted with a very pretty chorus and hook, a strong couplet structure, and plenty of polysyllabism. The first verse is mostly about a pretty gal and features my favorite line, "Baby, just alleviate your clothes, time to fly about it." Subsequent verses, however, offer some disrespect to a noted rap critic and some presidential candidates, along with other references that didn't age well, such as having a pager and being bulletproof.
Jesus.
While it's undeniable that Tupac's flow showed a strong command of rhythm, and with generally precise articulation, there are a few lines here that fly by so quickly that they're hard to make out. The mix, especially with headphones, sounds just a bit too busy to my ears. There's a lot going on, and it's pretty much all at full volume. The drums here are much more prominent than what you'd expect to hear on more recent rap tracks, but the cymbals, and especially the hi-hats, are played at a much more reasonable tempo and even spacing than modern rap or trap, which gives the listener a better chance at bobbing their head to the groove. This song could have been close to a minute shorter by excluding the last 2 repetitions of the chorus, while still maintaining a similar power without growing long in the tooth. Basically, they could have hit it and quit it, but instead they stayed and expected breakfast. The word that came to mind as I listened to this track for the first time, which was only 24 years after it was released, was vibin'. Although, now that I've listened to the Quincy Jones source material, I'd say it did a better job at vibing. Which is not to say that How Do You Want It is a lesser song. If anything, it's more powerful because of what was added. It's more powerful because of what was amplified. It's more powerful because, with the benefit of hindsight, we can see the inherent danger of living in the fast lane and being in the cash game, leading to an all too premature demise for the artist mere months after this track was released. The lessons we choose to learn from this, however, are entirely our own. I rated How Do You Want It at a 7.5 out of 10 on the Tune Score scale, but Kev, I'd love for you to take a moment, slap on those headphones, give it a spin, and let us know what you thought.
Right on, let's do it. Okay, I'm back.
So, Kev, what did you think of this one, and what do you have to say to Tuba Gooding Jr. for recommending these tracks?
Well, first off, that was excellent. The lyrics for this were very syllable heavy, each line, and his delivery was very impressive. And as far as hooks go, his delivery of the line, "How do you want it?" to wrap up each section with a tidy little bow is amazing. So good job on your tune score. I like that one a lot. To our listener, I would say you nailed it with How Do You Want It? And I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on Not Tonight by Lil Kim. I did enjoy it. But if we were playing poker right now, I would see your Not Tonight and raise you a queen bitch. I listened to that whole album and I was pleasantly surprised time and again, but when Queen Bitch came on, my attention was immediately captured. But I agree that this album was important, and again, I'm kicking myself for not having listened to it before now. So thank you, Tuba. I really appreciate the recommendations. The Sound Appraiser team went on a journey for this episode. I do hope that we did it justice.
You're right, Kev. This was a hell of a lot better than the typical YouTube roulette type of episode because these came from Tuba Gooding Jr., which is great. But if we're all sitting at the poker table, I'm going to raise you both. I'm going to go all in with Go to Town by Doja Cat. Probably the best cunnilingus song that any of us could ever hope to hear. But as always, we invite and encourage you, our dear audience, both of you, to give a listen to the tracks we reviewed today. They're on our Tune Scored Tracks playlist on our YouTube channel. While you're there, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel and leave us a comment, letting us know what you thought of our scores and critiques. Did you agree? Did we miss anything? That's also a great place to recommend one of your favorite songs for a tune score and a review. We've had a lot of fun today, and we hope you did too. That's been Kevin Nebrich. I've been Cary Nightingale. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay sound.